So you are able to understand people speaking English. You can read a whole book or watch a whole movie, but when it's about speaking, it's hard for you. Well, let me tell you something. You are not alone in this case. Every English learner went through this step where it's hard to speak. Now the question is, what to do in this case? First, let's talk about the reason why you cannot speak English. Have you ever heard of the passive fluency theory? So, the passive fluency is when you focus more on the comprehension rather than focusing on the speaking or the writing skills. Let's talk about the first four skills in any language. They are reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So, if we have to separate the four of them into two different cases, the first one are the input. So, you don't have to take something out of you when you read in English or when you listen to people speaking English. You are doing input, so you are taking information and putting them inside yourself. When you listen, information are entering your brain through your ears. When you read, information are entering your brain through your eyes. So this is the input. You don't have to stress yourself too much for this. But when it's about speaking or writing, you are taking information from yourself and giving it out to people. And this is very hard. The mistake that some people make is that they focus more on reading, listening, but they don't practice at all their speaking and writing. So this is why they are not able to speak English. Let's talk about my experience. When I was learning English at the beginning, I could spend hours every day just watching content, watching videos, watching movies in different levels. So I was training my ears every time, and I reached a point where I could watch a movie without even subtitles and understand the full meaning of it. I was able to read a book without using any translator, any dictionary, and understand the meaning of what is being said. But when it was about speaking, I could barely introduce myself in English. What is the reason behind this? I did not practice my speaking skills, and in order for me to move from completely beginner in speaking to intermediate or upper intermediate in speaking, I used a three-step method that we will discuss in the next part. So when I wanted to improve my speaking skills in English and move from a completely beginner to intermediate or upper intermediate in English, I used a three-step method. And the first part is building a learning routine. What do I mean by that? You have to set a specific time every day where you will just practice your speaking skills. Maybe you need 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. I would advise you to take at least 20 to 30 minutes every day to practice your speaking skills in order to expect a very quick improvement. If you remember what I said, I was able to improve my reading and listening skill because I practice a lot. It's all about repetition. The more you practice, the better you become. That's quite simple. So, after setting a learning routine for your speaking skills, you have to stick with it. If you say, okay, every day I have to take an hour just to practice my speaking, take these hours every day, keep practicing. Sometimes you may practice for less time or more time, but don't spend an entire day without practicing it. This is the most important rule that some people, that everybody has to go through in order to improve his speaking skills. Step number two, build your vocabulary. I will repeat this every time. Vocabulary is the most important asset that you have in any language you want to learn. Because just imagine this. If you want to say something, let's say I ask you a question. Hey, how are you? You will reply, I'm fine or I'm good. You will have to use some words to answer my question. That is quite simple. So we can understand that without word, there is no speaking. If you don't have words, you cannot speak. Build your vocabulary. You have to know the expressions used by native speaker, phrasal verbs, idioms in English. You have to practice your speaking, build your vocabulary by maybe reading books or watching movies, anything you want. As long as you learn new words every time, you are on a good way and you will reach fluency in speaking very easily. Now, let's say that you want to improve your vocabulary by watching a movie. You can watch a movie, pause the movie, try to repeat what has been said. Because sometimes you just watch a movie till the end and you think that you're practicing. No, you're not practicing. The only thing that you're practicing is you're listening because your ears are able to understand the meaning of what is being said. So I would advise you to watch a movie, pause the movie sometimes, take a break, try to be like, hmm, what did that person say? Try to repeat what was said. Repeat it, repeat it, repeat it again. If you want, you can write down what has been said. And now turn on the subtitles and try to compare if you were able to get it right or wrong. Step number three, embrace mistakes and build confidence. This is so important because one of the biggest problem of beginner in any language is that they are afraid to make mistake. Even me, I was afraid to make mistake. That is why sometimes I could not even say a word in English because I was like, "Hmm, is this the correct form or not?" When you are just starting, don't take too seriously the mistakes. Just say it out. As long as people can understand what you're trying to say, it will improve with the time. So embrace mistakes. Mistakes are so important. They are so important to improve your level in any language. You make mistakes, you are learning, you improve, you grow, and you become better at the end of the day. Build confidence because if someone is too afraid to make mistakes, that person will not at all build confidence and that person will get stuck at the level that he or she is currently and will not improve. So, if you're able to follow those three steps, step number one, build a routine, a learning routine. Step number two, you need to improve your vocabulary. And step number three, embrace mistakes and build confidence. Trust me, you will be able to become fluent in speaking in a short period of time. So, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to not miss my next video. And also share it to a friend or a family member that you think this video might be helpful to.